Hello, friends. This is the intro video for our food series that we've been sharing with you to help level up your whole food plant-based lifestyle even more. This has been phenomenal for us. I've been telling you for a while that I'm going to put this video together. Now here it is. It is time to talk about the results of this food program for us. Not just the things that we're feeling and experiencing, but actual numbers. We actually went to the doctor, got blood drawn, and so forth. Before I jump into that, I want to ask you a few questions. In your whole food plant-based lifestyle, or as you're learning to eat whole food plant-based, have you run into any roadblocks or any frustrations? That's a loaded question, probably because everything in life has some roadblocks and challenges. But have you found that there is some residual weight that you can't seem to get rid of? Have you found that there are other health markers that aren't where you want them to be? Whether it's an elevated A1C or prediabetes or other health factors that you feel should be different because you're eating so well. Do you feel like you just can't get full on a whole food plant-based diet, or that you're stuck in a rut with the things that you're fixing? Do you still pause sometimes and think, what can I fix and eat that's legal? Things like that. So me too. I had all of those difficulties and frustrations. Every single one of those has popped up as I have taken this very long journey. You know, now I've been doing this for years and practicing, and I would get discouraged from time to time at some of the difficulties, most specifically the weight. When I first started, I dropped 23 pounds, something like that, immediately. It was just awesome. But I still had 30 that needed to go and didn't. I really truly got stuck at a plateau, and I was just scratching my head, not understanding why that was happening. And then I got the news that I had an elevated A1C. I got that news early in February of this year, and I was kind of cranky about I was really cranky about that because I had been trying so hard with I mean, I've never been 100%, but I still was mostly all of the time eating the way that I should. And so that was very frustrating. And then I talked with many friends who felt frustrated with what they considered the options were for whole food plant-based food. And they have literally said the words to me, I just don't feel full. I can't feel satisfied. And I have felt that from time to time as well. But I was doing the wrong things. I was literally concentrating and taking actions that were hamstringing my own progress, and I didn't know it. So what happened to me is I came across Plantwise, which is PLANTWHYS. I found them online. They're an organization. Ali Essig is the founder of it, and she has an awesome team. And I started to learn things from them that I hadn't known before. And I'm going to have more information about those guys at the end of this video, because they have created an entire program based around this that I have found very helpful. I don't join these programs very impulsively. I really stew and study and think about it. And I joined their program and their membership, they call it, and it has been beneficial for me. So I'll have information about that. And going back to what I'm going to talk about here, we're specifically taking the things that I learned from that program and following the mission of our channel here, which is to make it easy and fast, because we are plant-based eating for busy people. That is our biggest problem with plant-based eating, is having the time to stick to it and to eat whole foods, which traditionally have taken much time to prepare. So it's been our mission and our joy to figure out how to make plant-based eating simple, fast, and easy. As simple, fast, and easy as fast food. That is always what we're looking for. So we have been sharing ideas and meal plans and things that fit into that program that will make your life easier. After coming across the program, I went ahead and read this book as well, Mastering Diabetes. I don't have diabetes, but my mother did, and she passed away when she was younger than I am now, at the age of 54 from a diabetes-related stroke. So when I was told this spring that I had an elevated A1C, aside from being frustrated, I was also worried, and I thought, I need to figure this out. So I read this book, and I recommend it highly. Even if diabetes isn't your issue, simply because diabetes, at least type 2, which is so rampant in our society today, is so very closely tied and related to heart disease and all of the other threats to our health. And so by following the things that I learned in this book, in addition to Allie's plan with Plantwise, the changes began to happen. Let me tell you about these. So as soon as I started the program, the weight started to drop. Just so you can appreciate this, you should know that I have been stuck for years at this point, this plateau. Occasionally I could dig down just a couple pounds underneath, but I would pop back up again. And I haven't been super persistent with huge workouts and things like that. Haven't had the time. I love exercise, but I have been very, very, very busy, hence this whole channel and this whole lifestyle. And so I couldn't rely on that to help me shed the weight. What's the word I'm looking for? Dependably, I guess. And I also knew that if you have to just work your brains out all of the time to maintain health and your target weight, something's not quite right, because that's not really the natural way. We want to be healthy, we want to be fit, but you shouldn't be like throwing yourself against the wall over and over again and making those demands just to get a normal life. So I, as soon as I started this plan and started to lose the weight, I was excited, but I expected another quick plateau. No. So 6 weeks into the program, I'm 12.7 pounds down. And my husband didn't want me to share any of his numbers on this video. He wants to maintain his privacy, and I respect that, actually. But let me just say, he's lost a ton more than I have. And that leads me to the next awesome thing about this plan, is you truly, truly feel full. And I'll explain why in just a minute. So you truly are not hungry during the day. So on other plans that I've done where there's calorie restriction, and no matter what angle I've taken at it, whether it's tons of fruits and vegetables, eat as many as you can, I still had that feeling of not being satisfied and full. And that is different with this plan. And so I'll tell you why in a minute. The other thing is, is my husband and I both went to the doctor a couple weeks ago, had our blood work done, and I asked him to do extensive. I wanted to look at vitamin deficiencies, hormones, all of the things. I really wanted to look under the hood. And I got my numbers back. My A1C is back to normal. It's as normal as it can be, baby. I am so thrilled with that. And everything else looks awesome. I have to tell you, this doctor that we're seeing is not super plant-based friendly. Bless him, he still is laboring under some myths and misconceptions that actually have been widely debunked for a while. So he was lecturing us somewhat on our plant-based lifestyle, telling us how we needed to pair up proteins and some other things that, you know, he's doing the best that he can. But he was dead wrong, and I was a little grumpy about it. And he was, you know, a little bit condescending about our plant-based lifestyle. So then when he called to tell me the results of my blood test, he just simply said, well, as far as your diet's concerned, just keep doing what you're doing. So I felt pretty vindicated and pretty excited about that. And I feel the difference in my body. Always, I've had a good feeling on whole food plant-based lifestyle, always. I've told you some of the things that happened, arthritis that went away, joint pain, and other things that have disappeared, have gone, and that has never changed. And I felt more youthful and more energy and all of the things. But I did have that little list of roadblocks that was bugging me. And as those are dropping off and disappearing, I'm feeling even better. And that is the literal truth. So the basics of this food plan are simply that we concentrate on low fat, and that is specifically out of this book, because fat in our blood is actually the cause of a lot of difficulties, most specifically insulin resistance. But even plant fats, good as they are, need to be controlled and limited. So here I was tanking up on nuts and seeds and avocados in an effort to feel full, because those were the things that made me feel satisfied. And so those were my go-tos, nut butters and things like that. When in reality, I was eating a fairly high fat plant-based diet. So by just making the littlest tweak, which is easier than it sounds, I began to see the difference, such a huge difference. And it also concentrates on fiber, lots of fiber. And those are the two things specifically that these two talk about, is low fat, high fiber. And then Allie throws in a concentration on protein, getting enough protein. Especially as we age, it is important to make sure that that's happening. We know that on a plant-based lifestyle, you're going to get the protein that you need. You're going to get adequate protein. But as we age, and if we want to keep our bodies strong and flexible, we need to make sure, you know, we need to keep an eye on it, basically. So we're not going for like huge high numbers, but we're calling it a high protein approach. And so Allie, I won't tell you everything. Allie breaks it down and makes it simple as to how to do that in your meals, what to concentrate on. This food plan is calorie restrictive at first, but you don't notice it. Like, that's another magical thing. Literally, I have done many things. Nothing. Oh gosh, I promise you, nothing has been this pleasant, this easy, this uncomplicated, this simple as this has been. And I feel like we have never eaten more variety, more wonderful foods, more favorites. It is, and you'll see as you watch our videos with the foods that we are eating and the recipes that we're making. And we use a lot of Allie's recipes from Plantwise, but we have so many favorites, some that we've created, some that we've adapted from other favorite people that we follow online. These are amazing meals, and you can see that by watching the videos. Something I don't want to forget to say is that the problem area on my body has always been my belly. It's just where the weight stays. And that's, as you know, indicative of other health concerns. Fat around your organs, visceral fat is not great. And so even when I would lose weight, I could feel that I was losing it in other places, but not this very stubborn belly. That was the first thing that I noticed on this food plan. The first place that weight started to drop was my belly, without exercise. So, like, that tells me that we are right on the money with the goals of what we're trying to achieve. That this food plan reduces that visceral fat, the fat around our organs, the fat in our blood, the fat that does the damage. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy because I just wondered if I was going to deal with, a Fuchi belly for the rest of my life. I kind of had accepted that I would. And to have it going away now, I still have that little drawer in my room full of my favorite clothing that, even though I'm a minimalist, I just didn't want to throw away those favorite pieces in the hope that maybe someday I could wear them again. But that hope was fleeting, and it's back. And I'm getting close. I already tried a few of them on, so that is exciting. So why is this food plan so good? For starters, my sister put it this way, because she's been doing it along with me. She's not even plant-based, at least not anywhere close to all the way plant-based. She's completely open to plant-based recipes and food and likes it. But she's still following the plan, non-plant-based. A little trickier for non-plant-based eaters. It's a lot easier for those of us who are plant-based, but she's doing it. She has dropped a ton of weight. And she said to me one day, "This is like a game. This is so fun." And that is how I feel too. Because of the simplicity of how it's broken up, you just have a certain number of calories each meal, and you're looking for a certain, I'll just tell you, you're looking for just each meal, just simple. You're eating a fruit and a vegetable with each meal, and you're trying to get at least 20 grams of protein with each meal, and you're trying to get less than 10 grams of fat with each meal, and you're trying to get at least 10 grams of fiber with each meal. Bonus points for more than that, and we always get way more than that. So, and then you make sure you eat a fruit and a vegetable with each meal, and we follow the Plantwise plate, which I will let Allie explain. But it just makes it simple, so you don't have to be there with your calculator and worrying and weighing and things like that. It's just simple. And each meal is a certain amount of calories divided up evenly throughout the day, depending on your calorie needs. And so because of that, you literally look at your meal or know that you have a meal ahead, and you're like, okay, I'm going to start with this and this and this. Ooh, now what do I need to add for a little protein? And it is so much fun. And you start to get really good at it, and you start to get a feel and a sense and an instinct for what high protein foods go with others. We, of course, ask ChatGPT for help quite a bit, and it's an awesome tool. Highly recommend. And it also is an awesome tool for measuring the nutrient profile of the meals that you make. Easy peasy and fun. So what you find yourself doing is, instead of feeling restricted, like I can't eat this, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, it's like, ooh, what else can I add to boost the fiber? What else can I do? You know, like, whoa, that's going to put me over my fat. So let's get a different option for this. And you start to get really good at it. You'll see from watching our videos how delicious the recipes are. So you don't have to, you're not just eating salad, okay? That's very important. I don't even like salad. I'm a plant-based eater who doesn't like salad. I have to choke salad down. So I love having options, and that's what we have on this plan. Okay, I've talked a lot. Just know that in this series, you're going to find meal plans. You're going to find daily meal plans. You're going to find recipes. You're going to find tips. You're going to learn little tweaks that will help you just level up your food choices so that you can enjoy some of these benefits that I have been talking about. I just wanted you to know that it works like nothing I've ever tried before. And along with the physical benefits that come from that comes a sense of balance and of peace. Like I feel in my core, in my spirit, that this is the right way to eat. Whole food plant-based, yes, but even better, whole food plant-based with these things in mind. I feel it in my body and my soul, and that tells me that I have come to a good place, and maybe some of you understand what I'm talking about. So please enjoy. We'll keep adding our daily food plans so that you can benefit from that. Feel free to share. And just so you have the information for Allie and the team over at Plantwise, it's plantwise.com, plantwhys.com. And highly recommend their membership, their program. This is the Jumpstart program that she does, or the first 40 days that we've been doing, but we will continue to adapt it probably forever, because my husband, he comes home from work every day, and I ask him almost every day, were you hungry? Like, were you hungry? Did you feel hungry? And he's like, no, like I wasn't even sure I could finish it all. And I'm like, yes, yes, that's what we're going for. And that's how I feel. So, wow, what an abundant life with all of the benefits. So thanks for sticking with me and listening to all my babbling. I so appreciate you and your ideas. We already have heard so much from so many of you, things that are working for you, recipes and tips that you have, and we love. Please keep them coming, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.